Welcome to episode 30 of Show Me How It's Done. Today I'm so excited to show you one of my favorite techniques. It's called a hinge step, and it uses this awesome Stamparatus tool in our catalog. A lot of people love this tool for the simplicity of repurposing one stamped image that they can just put in place multiple times in a row. If you don't have it inked up properly, it's easy to fix. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the versatility about this tool while I'm showing you how to make this adorable card. So the stamp set that I'm featuring on today's card is called Biggest Wish. And as you can see, I chose the sentiment birthday and happy birthday, but you could make this same card with a variety of sentiments from this same stamp set. So without further ado, let's get stamping. So the card I showed you today features 3 of the colors from our Brights collection. We've got Coastal Cabana, Gorgeous Grape, and then this one hiding in here is Mango Melody. I also made a sample using another combination, which was the Melon, Mambo, Bermuda Bay, and this one is Granny Apple Green. So I thought it would be really fun to bring in 3 more colors to showcase on today's card. So it's the same layout, you're just mixing and matching whatever colors of ink you want to play with. So for all of the cards, you will need a piece of basic white cardstock. This is going to be cut at 5.5 by 8.5. And you're putting a mark down the middle here with your scoring tool at 4 1/4, so that when you fold this card in half, you have a perfect card front. Okay, so easy peasy, like so. Now we're going to use my Stamparatus. So we're going to open this little gate here. And you can choose how you want this to line up. You can tuck it right into the corner for a really snug feeling. If you prefer to work in the middle of your workspace, then that's okay too. But the nice part about this is we're stamping on the right-hand side. So this section here is going to be really easy to work around and not get inky on anything. Okay, so I'm going to put a little magnet down and show you how to line up this stamp. So I've chosen the birthday stamp, as I mentioned, and I'm just going to rest it right where I want my first stamped image to be. Okay, so I've nicely given myself just about 1/8 of an inch buffer on the top and on the sides of the card. And then this clear platform, I'm just going to gently push down and it will pick the stamp up for me. So now I don't need to reposition this stamp on the board at all. It's going to be in the same spot every time I work. Now, one little tip for you is when you're inking this up, you're going to want some sort of case underneath this platform, because when you push the ink onto your stamp, you're putting a lot of pressure on these little hinges, and they can handle it, but your tool will last much longer if you can support this platform just with a stamping case. Okay, so the 2 inks that I'm going to play with you today are Pacific Point and Flirty Flamingo. You can choose whichever one you want to start with. So I'm going to grab Pacific Point, and we're going to stamp on the birthday sentiment. So I'm going to keep dabbing. I don't want to press really hard because I do not want any ink getting on this platform underneath. I'm simply just tapping on top of my stamp. And now when I'm ready to press it down, make sure you go from one side to another in a nice even motion so that it all gets inked. Now, what I love about this machine is you just saw me move my paper a tiny bit. So I just reposition, push everything back in the corner, and try again. So the hinge step is really fun because these are our hinges. We're going to step the stamp down. So in order to take this plate out, you have to stand it up completely vertical. If I was to try and pull it out while it's on an angle, it doesn't move. So stand it up completely vertical and pull up. Now, if I was to move this sentiment down one, I would end up stamping the word birthday in blue once again, but I want to step it up a little bit. I want alternating colors. So instead of moving down just one notch, you're going to move down 2 notches, press it into place. And if you're worried, just kind of eyeball like, oh yes, okay, I have left a nice space here. That's going to be where my other color's going. Now I'm stamping here. So same idea, dab, dab, dab with that blue color, press into place. And you can see how straight these sentiments are. I haven't had to try and line up the Y's or the B's to keep things straight. They're all the way across, easy peasy. So same deal, put this straight up and down. Instead of moving down 1 notch, we're moving down 2 because we want that last blue one on the bottom here. And then you can close this blue so it's out of your way. Here we go. So here I have a beautiful assortment now of birthday in Pacific Point, but I want to switch colors. So here is where my super handy Simply Chamois comes in. This thing is so ugly, but you can just rinse it with water, and the colors, they may dye your chamois, but they're not going to come off on your projects, so don't worry about that. Okay, see, fingers are clean still. All right, so my birthday now. I started in the top notch when I wanted to do blue. So this is now where we're going to move down 1 notch right here, and we're going to start doing our Flirty Flamingo. So just to be sure, I've moved my stamp just hovering over top of my paper, and I can see that it's fitting right in that middle space. So Flirty Flamingo, here we go. You won't be able to see this one as nicely on my stamp, but you can see it on the paper. So, and now we're going to lift straight up, go down 1, go down 2, and click into place. The nice thing about this is you can always double check where you're at. There we go. So this guy, oh, I moved over a tiny bit. Oops. Oh well, he's slightly off, and that's okay. But this, you can clearly see, is very, very easy to replicate. If I wanted to do another card, if I wanted to do 10 cards, I could slip them in the same position. They would line up in the same spot every single time. When I'm done with this, you'll always want to make sure that is clean, so you can use it for your next project. And we'll close this up so it doesn't dry. I'm notorious for leaving my stamps on this and then putting it away, so I'm just going to put that away now. Here we go. Oh, I wanted to show you guys. Have you seen our new stamp cases? They have the sentiments on the inside here. So instead of keeping this plastic sheet, what you actually can do is you can take your stamps off and you can put them on each of these spots so that now you don't have to worry about keeping that little plastic insert and having it kind of move all over the place on you. You can just put your stamps exactly where they need to go, and you'll know what you're missing every time, because on here you can't tell. The pictures aren't printed on there anymore. So this one's really fun. I like that versatility. And then for those sets that have coordinating dies, I just put a magnetic sheet on this opposite side here, and I store my dies now with their stamp sets so that I don't need to worry about losing those or having to chase them down. There we go. Easy peasy. So we'll move this now out of your way. You don't really need it. And we need to do a little bit of prep work for these side pieces. So I was playing with this Brights Designer Series paper collection. It comes in 6x6 sizes, and you can get it in all the color families. I just thought, hey, Brights is beautiful. Let's play with that. So I've chosen a few patterns from that. I cut myself 3 colors. So this one is Poppy Parade, Flirty Flamingo, and Pacific Point. So you need 3 sheets that are 1 inch by 5.5. I've cut these 2 already, but I wanted to show you how I did that. So I have grabbed a die, this one here, this kind of squiggly one, from my Basic Borders die set. And this one has some nice small triangles, some clouds, some envelope liners, and card shapes. So this is a really, really fun, versatile set that we're going to use today. I'm going to show you on my Baby Boss how I cut this. Here's my little guy here. No, flip it around because I'm right-handed. So to cut, we're going to want the skinny little white platform, number 1, and the 2 clear plates. So those both have the number 2 on them. You can see up in the top right-hand corner here. So we're going to put one of these plates down, kind of like the base of a sandwich. And then I'm going to line my die up as far to the right on my strip of paper as I can. So I'm not going to go over so that the tips are cut off. I'm just moving this so that these tips are touching the very edge of the Designer Series paper. And that's how I'm going to make the 3 strips the same size. Okay, so put this down. And put your last plate on top. Try not to move it. There we go. And then rolling everything through without moving everything. That's the fun part. Yeah. So that will now leave me with this beautiful stitched edge that I'm going to use for my project, and a little scrap that you could always use somewhere else, because of course it would be the opposite edge of this die. But in this case, we've cut our paper so small that we're not even going to worry about it. Okay, so to line these up on your paper, you can do them whatever way you'd like, whatever order. So go ahead and start fiddling around with this. See what color scheme you like. You could go dark to light. You can mix it up, mix and match. I think I'm going to go dark to light. And you'll notice my strips are actually taller than my paper. So I left mine at the 6-inch size. It was just an easy way to cut my papers. I'm going to trim them off the top. If you want just the ease of cutting ahead of time, just cut this strip to 5.5 inches. So totally up to you. All right, on this side, on the back side of my little strips, you're going to put some double-sided tape or adhesive right along the straight edge. Don't put any on these little bumpities because we're actually going to be tucking things under them. So just along the straight edge is where we're putting our adhesive. 3 strips, like so. Okay, so whatever page or color you want on the far left is the one you're going to put on first. So I'm going to do Pacific Point and just line that right up with your folded edge. Okay, so those two should be flush together. And then I, of course, have that little overhang at the top that I will cut off. My next choice is going to be the Poppy Parade. So I've taken my adhesive off, and this is why I told you not to put any adhesive on these bumps, because we're going to actually squeeze this piece in to that little section. Okay, so that instead of seeing white in behind, you're seeing red. Okay, and just go in as far as you need to make a nice even line and press that in place. Third and final color we're going to add in here. And once again, we're sneaking in behind those little bumps on the red. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to do this by not blocking you. There we go. And you may have just a slight overhang on some of your words. You wouldn't if you stamped the word thank you or something, but that's okay. This looks cute and no one's going to mind. So we'll just trim this excess off. Like so. Okay, last step that we need to do is to add the sentiment happy. So this little die here, this guy here, that we're going to stamp the word on, this actually comes from the Hippo and Friends die set. There's a bunch of really cute stitched shapes in there, and I found they're very, very versatile for some of the sentiments that we have now. So I'm going to stamp with my Memento Tuxedo Black, just because black's a great standard. But if you notice, if I was to stamp this straight down, I don't know if you can see, it actually comes off the tag. It doesn't quite fit because the tag is just slightly too small. And so we're going to do something that I don't think many stampers do on purpose, which is tilt our stamp. So if you just tilt this slightly and stamp at an angle, the word happy will fit perfectly on here instead of stamping it straight. Okay, and this one I did pop up on a couple dimensionals because, you know, I can't really do a card without dimensionals. Something's going on if I am. And you could put this at the top, middle. I thought it was kind of cute if I just put this at the bottom of the card. And to decorate, because, you know, a little bling is great, you can use some rhinestones. I have a bunch of these silver and clear epoxy shapes, so I'm just going to take a couple of those and add some details to my card. Maybe a small one here. There we go. I just added 3. Nice and simple, but let me see if I can zoom you in. There we go. There are the 3 cards that we made. So we've made this one together, and then here are 2 other color combinations that you can easily replicate. You can also go through the rest of your stack and mix and match colors in a different way as well. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Hinge Step Technique and also learning about a card that you can mass produce, but also personalize simply by changing some of those colors. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.